All right, let's jump right in. What if I told you there's a way to build a massive, impactful creative career without ever having to post on social media again? Today, we are digging into a pretty radical blueprint that might just make that possible. It's a model designed for one thing: pure, uninterrupted creation.
So let's start with that one big question. Seriously, take a second and think about it. What if you could spend 100% of your time actually creating, building, and solving problems without ever having to write another newsletter, manage an online community, or chase likes and shares? I know, it sounds like a total fantasy, but it's the core idea we're going to explore today.
Okay, so the first piece of this puzzle is something our source material calls a fortress for flow. And no, this isn't about building walls to keep people out. It's actually about creating a sanctuary for your most valuable asset, your creative energy. And look, this isn't just about stringing together a few productivity hacks you saw online. We're talking about a whole system, a personal operating system that is obsessively designed with one and only one primary objective in mind. And that's it. That's the Holy Grail. Unbroken creation. We have all been there, right? You're deep in the zone, the ideas are finally connecting, and then a notification dings and just shatters your focus. Well, this entire system is designed to make that a thing of the past. Building this fortress involves a whole ecosystem of tools. We're talking hardware that physically blocks out distractions, software that acts like a bodyguard for your focus, and even AI that automates all those tedious tasks that are constantly pulling you out of your creative state. Every single component serves that one meta goal: protecting your flow. So here's the formal definition. It's a personal system of tools that work together to kill friction, protect your attention, and basically offload all the mental grunt work. Think of it like a shield for your mind. So we've got this powerful system, but why is it so incredibly necessary in the first place? Well, that brings us to our next big concept.
The reason we need this fortress is because of a hidden cost, a tax that comes with any kind of success in the creator economy. It's called the visibility tax, and honestly, it's a silent killer of deep, meaningful work.
This quote from the source material just hits the nail on the head. It really gets to the heart of the modern creator's dilemma, doesn't it? The second your work starts finding an audience, the demands on your time and attention just explode. So how in the world do you grow your impact without drowning in all those interruptions? This slide just lays it out so perfectly. It shows the two competing forces in every creator's life. On one side, you've got creation. That's the deep work, building systems, the real problem solving. That's where all the value is born. And on the other side, you've got the overhead, the endless, soul-sucking grind of self-promotion and audience management that just drains your energy. So in a nutshell, the visibility tax is all the work you have to do about your work. It's the price you pay for being seen, and it is a direct drain on your most finite resource, your creative focus.
Which, brings us right back to that massive central problem. If putting your work out there creates this ever-increasing tax on your attention, how can you possibly scale your impact without being pulled apart by 1,000 tiny demands?
So, how do we solve this dilemma? Well, the source material proposes a fascinating and pretty counterintuitive solution. It's a direct response to the visibility tax, and it's called the shadow architecture.
Let's break this down because it's a really cool concept. The easiest way to think about it is like a ghostwriter, but for products. So you have a voice. That's a public figure with great ideas and an audience that trusts them. And then you have a ghost builder. That's the anonymous craftsperson who takes those abstract ideas and turns them into real, tangible tools and systems. And the process is brilliantly simple. The voice shares concepts with their audience. The ghost builder then translates those concepts into actual products. The voice then distributes that finished work as a collaboration. And the beauty of this model, the real magic, is that the builder gets to focus entirely on what they do best, which is building, all while reaping the rewards of a huge engaged audience. Okay, but you might be thinking, why not just go it alone? And that's a fair question, but the advantages here are just huge. You get immediate access to a built-in audience that already wants what you're making. The distribution channel, already there. And you get this direct feedback loop from users that makes sure you're building stuff people actually need. All of this without spending a single minute on personal brand. It's a really compelling idea, right? But how does it actually work in practice? Let's get into the nuts and bolts, the actual anatomy of this unique kind of partnership.
The roadmap is really methodical. The first quarter is all about setting up a workflow and just proving the concept works with a couple of initial products. Then, in the second quarter, you flip the switch on revenue, probably with some kind of subscription. And from there, the rest of the year is all about scaling that pipeline and building out a full suite of really valuable tools.
So what about the money?
How does that get shared? Well, the proposed split is actually designed to reward the act of creation. The Ghost Builder, the one who's actually doing the product development, takes the majority, 60% share. Meanwhile, The Voice, who provides the distribution and audience, takes 40%.
Now this is where it gets really interesting. This chart breaks down the financial potential for the builder, and as you can see, the numbers scale incredibly well. By just the 6-month mark, with only 300 paid subscribers, the builder's share could be over $2,000 a month. And by the end of the year, with a library of 15 tools, it could be approaching 10 grand a month. Pretty amazing.
Okay, but anytime you have a partnership, things can get tricky, right? You need trust and clear agreements. That's why the model includes these key protections for both sides, which is absolutely crucial. The builder keeps full ownership of their code. The Voice keeps full ownership of their audience. Anonymity is baked into the contract, and there are super clear, documented exit clauses. This professional framework is what makes it a viable long-term thing.
So now that we've seen how the mechanics of the shadow architecture work, let's just pull back for a second and think about the bigger picture here. What does it really mean to separate a creator's impact from their public identity?
It all comes down to this. This is the core promise, the ultimate goal. The ability to do your absolute best work, have it reach thousands and thousands of people, and do it all from the quiet, protected space of your personal Flow fortress.
Ultimately, this is more than just a clever business model. It's really a philosophical statement. It's a potential blueprint for a future where your contribution is measured by the tangible value you create, by what you build, not by the size of your following or the strength of your personal brand.
And that leaves us with one final big question to chew on. In an economy that seems to demand more and more personal exposure from all of its creators, could the most powerful and sustainable path forward actually be one of total anonymity? Is this what the future of creation looks like?